Welcome back to Suburban Microgreens. This is going to be part 2 of the video of me making my unit to grow microgreens inside the house. And this is going to be the one that's going to show the progression of the plants. At the end of the last video, we made all of our seeds, or planted all our seeds for propagation. And this is going to be the first time. That was earlier today, so I'm going to go ahead and mist them again tonight. And then we'll follow along and look at them at different days and see when they start germinating. Hopefully they germinate. We see them germinating, and to the point to where we take them and move them up underneath the lights. So I'm going to reset up my camera and I'll show you the first time on how I'm going to spritz the seeds just to keep them moist until they germinate. Okay, what I've done, I've took my trays from up on the top shelf and I moved them down here just to make them a little easier to work with for right now. So I'm going to pull my lids off. There's my peas, and I've just got a water bottle here, and I'm just going to come across and just mist across them all. And then I'll just rotate them around over into this other tray, and that will uncover my sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds seem a little wetter, they're a little closer to the soil. I'm going to do this every evening and every morning until they propagate, until I get ready to move them up under the lights, and then we'll start watering them from underneath. So I'll just take that tray, move it there, take this tray, move it back to the top, set them back up on my top shelf. And move my radishes, my cabbage, and my broccoli back down. So anyway, just to keep this video from getting too long, I'm going to go ahead and time lapse through this, and then we'll come back and check some progress on them in a day or two. Okay, our seeds have been sitting for about 36 hours now. It's morning time, so this is going to be the morning watering. And then again, I've just got a spray bottle here. I got this zoomed in pretty good where you can see the seeds good. So I'm just going to come across and just wet my seeds down again. And I would say I've got probably, get over to the other side where I'm not blocking the camera. I'd say I've got probably close to 90% germination, so I'm really happy. So then I'm going to take this one and move it over to our other one. Now, I don't know how well you can see this. I'm going to stop recording for a second, and then I'm going to zoom in. And I kind of freaked out when I first opened these this morning because there's fuzz all over. I'm like, oh crap, I've got mold coming on these things. But turns out it's not mold. I researched it again, and it's cilia. C-I-L-I-A, I believe is how you spell it. And they're really fine hair fibers that are growing out of the roots. And they say the way that you can tell for sure that's what they are is as soon as you get them wet, they retract. And it's basically they got too dry. Okay, here's some pretty good examples right here. You can see right there, right there, right there. You can see those little fine hairs coming off of the roots. And if you watch when I hit them with water, anywhere I hit this water on here, you see those little roots just retract and go away. So that's cilia, and that's natural, that's something that the plant does. So I'll go ahead and spritz the whole thing now. I'm going to go back and, well, we'll just go ahead and do this one. We'll go ahead and go to, and you can see the cilia pretty good on this too. I can try and zoom in good. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this one. I tell you what, I'm going to spray this off video. I'm going to make a separate video just on the cilia, and I'm going to use this tray for this. So I'm going to spray this one into a separate video that you can come in and find. I'll put a link up at the top to that one if you want to see this one get sprayed. And then I'll go ahead and we'll fast forward through spraying the sunflowers and the peas. The sunflower seeds do not have near the percentage of germination, but they do not have the cilia on them either. So maybe that's one of our lessons here, is that the pre-soaking of the seeds may have been enough to keep the seeds from drying out and growing the cilia. The only thing I'm sitting there thinking about that as I'm doing this, and it would not be an issue to pre-soak the radish seeds and the broccoli seeds and all that, but spreading them would be a whole lot harder because they're going to be wet, and I really like the shaker method. So if I'm not able to do that, that's going to make that a lot more difficult. So I may experiment with maybe soaking seeds and then letting them dry out enough, and then coming back and putting, I gotta move these down here to another empty tray, sorry. Okay, and then here are our pea seeds. The peas, I would say I don't see a whole lot. I would say they're probably maybe 60–70% germination so far on the peas, and do not see any of the cilia growing on the peas either. So, and you can see a lot of these roots. I'll try and zoom in on one. Like there's one right there where you see they're finding the dirt. Some of them, you know, the roots come out on the top. It takes them a little bit longer to find the dirt, but they know which way's up, which way's down. Anyway, that's the end of day, or really the second day, 36 hours into this. We'll come back and look at them in another day or two. This is day 3. It's been exactly 3 days. I did this midday one day, and this is 3 days, midday again. So it's almost exactly 3 days now. And I got some pretty exciting stuff. Here's the first ones. And these are my sunflower seeds. And they're germinating really good. I say that they don't have, I guess it could be a higher percentage of germination, but it's still. So these are probably my most disappointing of what I've planted so far. And I really think that maybe my issue with the not soaking the seeds long enough may have really come back to haunt me on these. They look good, I mean, but here's where we're at with those. They're coming up, you know, they've rooted and they're coming up out of the ground, but there's still quite a few seeds in here, as you can see across here, that are not germinated yet. So that one we'll move down, and then here's our peas. Peas are doing pretty good. They have a high germination rate. Almost every seed is opened, at least some, and we got some coming out with leaves, but not a lot. So a lot of root growth, but not much in the leaves yet. And again, this one is in 3 days time. So we'll go ahead and wet this one down again. So these are both of our seeds that we soaked. Okay, so we're going to move these down. Goes back on top of the sunflower seeds and back on our peas. Now, this is what I was excited about here. So these are our, and this is one of my mistakes that I made. I'm not sure if this is cabbage or broccoli. I'm pretty sure it's the cabbage. I'll figure it out eventually which one was which. But these, they were almost 100% germination, and they're all got leaves, and you can kind of rake across there. You can see it kind of knocks those little holes off. This particular flat, just for this experiment, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mist them down one more time. And then this flat is going under the lights. Okay. So it's going to get, I'll show you that in a second. I'll do one tray. So it's going to get its own solid tray underneath it now. These are the ones that I'm really excited about. These things are already over an inch tall. And these are my radishes. And you see how they're all yellow and everything, and that's just because they don't have any, you can see a little bit of green on the ends over here. It's just because they haven't had any light yet. So these definitely feel very confident. These are ready. Just gonna go ahead and one more misting. Then I'm gonna start watering them from underneath. So these are definitely ready to go. So I'm gonna move these out. These are going under the light today. And these look really nice too. They're not as big and full as the radishes, but I kind of think that the reddish one is my cabbage, and I think this is the broccoli. If you go across there and look, you can just sit there and it knocks whatever little seeds are left up on top, kind of knocks them off. These are probably 3/4 of an inch tall too. Again, nice and yellow, just because they haven't had any sun or any grow lights to them yet. So my cabbage, radishes, and broccoli are all going under the grow lights today. The peas and the sunflowers, we're going to hold them back a day or two and see what happens with them. We got our, I'm assuming, cabbage, broccoli, radishes all moved under the light now. And I've got them all now in the trays with a hole, and they're all sitting in a solid tray now too underneath. Every one of them's got a solid tray underneath to catch water now. So I'm going to start doing water from underneath now. So I'm going to start out with probably maybe about a cup of water on each one and just see how that works. And I have to make adjustments to see if they're drying out too much or not. So hopefully twice a day, cup of water underneath. The soil is still really wet from misting them, so that's what I'm going to start with and see how that works. So anyway, everything's looking cool. We'll see what they do in another day under the lights. So I mean, and my lights too also, I'm going to run them 12 hours a day, 7 in the morning, 7 in the evening, and that's going to be my beginning measure that I'm going with. So we'll see how that works. Okay, right now we're at 4.5 days, and these were moved into under the light about 24 hours ago. But these things greened up almost immediately, like within a couple hours they started turning green, and they've already grown another inch. Let me measure these. If I'll show on the video or not. From the dirt, these are already 3 inches high. From the dirt up, these are 3 inches high. So these have grown over an inch in a day. And this is the radish. This is the broccoli. The broccoli's up to 2 inches, so it's grown about an inch. And this was at a 1/2 inch the other day, and it's at almost 1.5 inches. So this has grown almost an inch. So this has grown almost an inch. This one's grown over an inch in 24 hours, the first time put in the light. They're super full and lush. So I feel really confident about my amount of seeds that I used with these trays. So that's what I'm going to go with these. Okay, now I've got my peas and my sunflowers. So here we go. These are again still at 4.5 days. So there's the peas. And I'm not as excited about the peas. And I'll see if I can get, or you can get a better shot at what they look like. Okay, there's the peas, and some of them look almost like the seed rotted and didn't seed. And I don't think I think they've all opened, but they're just not all at the same stages. So, but and I don't know, I'm just not sure about this. I'm going to go ahead and put these under the lights. I mean, they're pretty tall. They got leaves coming up. So I'm going to go ahead and move these under the lights at this point. And so not super excited about the peas. So that's one that we're going to have to make some changes on probably. And I'm thinking probably the soaking part is going to be my biggest challenge with those. And then here are my sunflowers. And the sunflowers actually look pretty good, but I don't know how well you can see. There are quite a few seeds in there that did not open up. So this is not going to be, I think the amount of seeds was probably good, but I just didn't get full germination of all the seeds in there. So I'm probably gonna, I'm hoping that my problem with both of these is the fact that I only soaked them for 6 hours. So the next crop of these, I will soak for 12 hours and see what kind of a difference it makes. I'll do exactly the same thing as I did with this set, except I'll go to 12 hours on soaking the seeds and see what kind of difference it makes. So these two are going to be ready to go. I'm going to put solid trays underneath them. This one's actually got a tray underneath it still, but I have not watered from underneath on these. So I'm going to go get my water and show you on video again how much I'm watering these. The soil is still really wet, so I've got a system so far that's working where I'm watering the other ones that have been under the light for 24 hours already. Okay, I got my water, and this one is not under a solid tray yet, so I'm going to put this one under a solid tray. And what I did with the other ones, and it seemed to work really good, is the very first time I watered, I put 2 cups of water under the tray. So I just basically lift this thing up, and I started with 2 cups on the very first watering, and then watering every 12 hours again after that, and I'm doing 1 cup after that. Okay, here we are at day 8, and this is harvest day for what I have. And I've got some mixed results. I'm gonna come back in here, and you can see right here, and these became kind of leggy and fell down, and I'm really not sure why. I don't really, they started doing that the other day, and I don't think it's lack of water. I think it's just they got so tall that they just fell over. Once they started falling, then they started falling around the sides. These have started falling a little bit, and then most of these stayed pretty straight up and down. So I'm going to go in there and look. We've got, from the soil, we've got about 4.5 inches of height out of the radishes, which is great. And then on the broccoli, we've got really almost 4.5 inches on it too, so about the same height. These may be a little bit taller in the middle. And then we got about 3 inches on the cabbage. Our pea shoots are tall. They're close to 5 to 6 inches across there, but they're not thick at all, and neither are my sunflowers. Sunflowers about 4 inches. Still got a few seeds on top of the sunflowers, so I'm gonna have to pull the seeds off before I harvest these. Just a few that left on here. I haven't really been, they say you can come in there and do this. I haven't really been doing that, and it does knock most of them off. I may have to hand pick a couple off. There's a couple that were, like one right here that's, just really starting to come up. So, I'm gonna readjust here. So there's our peas. You can see that a lot of the peas did not germinate. And the same with the sunflowers. There's a lot of the sunflowers that did not germinate through here. I'd say maybe a little over half of the sunflowers germinated, but they still look nice and healthy. Cabbage, my seed rate was great on the cabbage. All 3 of these on the bottom, I'm very happy with the amount of seed that I did. That's my broccoli. Looks really good. And my radish looks really good too. And I'm looking through here, and I don't really see, even to this point, there are no true leaves coming out on any of these. I don't see a single true leaf on anything. Starting to get true leaves come out on the I'll pull one of these off. You see right there in the middle, there are true leaves starting on the sunflower, but that's it. So I'm going to reset up, and we're going to go ahead and harvest these. Okay, I've got my sunflowers here. I still got a few seeds that are stuck on the top here, but I'm just going to go ahead and harvest these, and then I can pick the seeds out. So I'm just going to use the scissor method. So I'm just going to come through here and grab some, cutting them up about maybe an inch above the ground. And then I will I will fast forward through this and then we'll come back and we'll weigh them. Okay, we've got them all harvested now. So let's go back over our weights. And these things are really good. They are, I don't even know how to describe them. I've never eaten the sunflowers before. Very mellow, very flavorful, not bitter at all. So with the sunflower shoots, we got 6.9 ounces. Okay. The pea shoots, we got 3.8 ounces. But I tell you what, if you've ever eaten snow peas, that's exactly what these taste like. They're absolutely delicious. By far my favorite of the ones. Hey, the ones that were laying to the side looked almost a little bit wilty on the radish, so I put them in 2 separate bags. But total between the two, we got 13.7 ounces. And the reason I separated them, I'm still going to eat them. I'm just going to eat these first. The radishes, if you've never eaten them, they're kind of spicy and pungent like a real radish is, but obviously not that strong. These are really great in adding into recipes and stuff like that. Afterwards, they actually have a little bit of a bite too. Almost hot. Okay, now this is our cabbage, the red cabbage, 12.4. That one did really well. And I've had cabbage before, but Very mellow, very flavorful. So far, nothing bitter tasting at all. I don't think we took anything too far where it could get bitter. And this is the broccoli, 11.3 ounces on it. And I've never eaten broccoli before either. Not this kind, not the microgreen broccoli. Very flat. I don't really know how to describe it. Very good. They all have a different taste for sure. Nothing bitter, so I'm very happy about that. Everything tastes really good. Okay, so recapping on all this, I'll set some of this here so we can talk. I was hoping I would have got higher yields out of some of them. The broccoli, radish, and the cabbage, I'm really happy with, except for the radishes, laying over. I have to figure out what happened there. The sunflower and the peas, love them, they're delicious, but I didn't get near the yield that I could have got out of those, obviously. And I just have to work on the next batch. I'm gonna soak for probably 12 hours. And then I may smash them down in the dirt just a little bit more. At least the peas. I think the sunflowers will be fine just soaking them longer. The peas, I think, need to be pushed down in the dirt or maybe even covered up. I have an idea on how I'm going to try the peas next time, on leaving my dirt loose and then pushing them down in the dirt where they're buried a little bit. And so far, I'm pretty happy. I learned a lot of stuff, so I'm going to make some more videos. And then in the follow-up videos, I'm probably going to do fewer crops at once, and that way I can focus on exactly what I'm doing with those, and maybe do 2 things of peas, and do one with one method, one with another method, to kind of experiment and compare and see how my yields come out. And in the end, that's what I want. I want to get the best yield I can out per flat. So I'll do some more experimenting. I appreciate you watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share my videos. And when you subscribe, hit the little bell notification. And that way, when I post new videos, you'll get notified. Thanks for watching. Bye.